there will be a Superdate, folks. It's at the Superdome. Why do I know? Because they mention it about probably a dozen times in this episode of Mid-South Wrestling from May 1984. Morgan Fairchild, Knots Landing, Flamingo Road, all of those. And we've got JR, good old JR, and Joel Watts, the son of owner Jim Watts, who doesn't look like he's having a great time on colour commentary. He looks a little bit stiff at the moment. Now, we do have the Superdate at the Superdome. You can apply, and there will be a separate company judging all of the entries. If you are unmarried, you have to be unmarried. I don't know how they're going to prove this. If you say you're unmarried, how are they going to go to your house and have a look to see if you've got a marriage license, or is your husband? I mean, are you unmarried, or are you just in a long-term partnership? I mean, by this time in '84, I suppose long-term partnership wasn't so prevalent. But or are you dating somebody and you still want to have a super date with the Rock and Roll Express? Nice guys, apparently. Nice guys. They show that do jump thing from last week. You're not going to get jumped. No one's going to have a jump in the super date because you're going to be chaperoned. So that's not going to happen. None of that nefarious sexual activity will happen. Let me tell you that. You have to be unmarried, and over 18. So they mentioned that several times. Another thing that they said they were going to have this week is that they were going to have Kerry Von Erich, but he won the NWA title, so he's got things to do with that NWA championship, and he can't be here in Mid-South. No, but they've got a great card, nevertheless. They say that. Anyway, Jay Youngblood's coming, and what they've got is a video with Jim Watts, which the kind of thing that he did with Steve Williams. Jim Watts doing the kind of colour voiceover thing. I mean, they could have got JR to do it, but Jim Watts is doing it. He said that Youngblood was in a tag team with Ricky Steamboat, which he was, of course. But Steamboat was retired to look after his gym business. He will come back, folks. He will come back. Several times, I think, if I remember rightly. And so that leaves Jay Youngblood able to take on the bookings, and he will be in Mid-South. I'm not really holding my breath, even though apparently he can cover you like a blanket when you snuggle up. I don't think it's that kind of thing. But Boyd Pierce has got an extraordinary flowered jacket. It's kind of grey with big yellow flowers on it. It's a bit psychedelic, actually. And Steve Brinson is facing Steve Williams, Dr. Death. Yeah. It's already been called Dr. Death by this time. It was the promo last week, and this must be his first appearance proper on the Mid-South programme. Now, we know that Bill Watts, did I call him Jim Watts earlier? He's a boxer. Bill Watts really enjoyed Steve Williams, and that's fair enough. And so did good old JR, I think, and that's fair enough. Here is not great. So there's a takedown, but Brinson gets a headlock. You're having a go, Brinson, as if they said, don't fall too easily to him. Actually work it a bit. There is a Williams bear hug. Brinson goes to the eyes. So Williams gets a bear hug, and then that shoulder block. And then two of those, in fact, two. There's a power slam for the thing that he calls the Oklahoma Stampede. It's basically what Jim Duggan does, or Jim Dugan, if you like, which is what Bill Watts has to call him. So I don't know how that's going to go over, because Hacksaw Jim Duggan is still there, I think, or has he gone to WWF at this time? I don't think so. I think he's still there, and he does the same move. It's called the Oklahoma Stampede. Now, Hacksaw Jim Duggan hasn't got a name for his finishing manoeuvre. He's got to be furious. He's not the kind of guy to get furious, is he? And that's the pin. So it looks good, but he hasn't really got much charisma. Tell you who has, though. Butch Reed, dressed in a waistcoat and natty slacks. And last week, of course, he painted JYD yellow. He talks to JR about that, and we see that. Butch says he's the greatest black athlete that ever lived, not JYD, and he's going to prove it. And he will prove it by facing Al Scott and beating him quickly. He's changed rather quickly as well. So we see him with JR. It might have been pre-recorded, of course, folks, but we see him with JR, and suddenly he's in the ring in his wrestling attire. So Al Scott tries to get some shots in here. It's not a good thing to do. Not a good thing to do. Butch Reed throws him into the buckle, gets a suplex and a Grillo press slam, which works for a Grillo press slam, and that flying shoulder block that is called the slingshot. He doesn't slingshot from anywhere. He just jumps, he flies through the air with the greatest of ease. It looks great, but it's not really a slingshot. They're starting to call Butch Reed the Brick House now, and that is fair enough. Now, James E. Cornette wants to give us the most monumental statement ever on Mid-South Wrestling. Not James's words, not Mr. Cornette's words, JR's words. And what's that monumental statement? He believes that when the Rock and Roll Express beat the Midnight Express for the championships, the tag team championships, they actually were dressed as someone else. That is the case, folks. And they got the belts, and they've kept the belts. And I don't think they should have the belts. And I agree with James E. Cornette here, because they didn't sign to fight the Rock and Roll Express. In fact, earlier in the hour, they were saying these are the teams we won't meet, and one of them was the Rock and Roll Express. He points that out. He's so angry that his mama has given him $50,000 to fight for that belt, and he's going to put that $50,000 up for a match against the Rock and Roll Express. I think I know what's going to happen. I think I know. Anyway, that's the monumental. It's not a monumental. It's not like, Cornette coming out and saying that this tag team are breaking up now, or we hate each other, or I don't know, both of them have only got 5 days to live, or something like that. It's not like that, is it? It's not a monumental situation like that, is it? Or I've just been elected president, something like that. Or even I'm the new president of Mid-South Wrestling. It's not monumental. Anyway, the Midnight Express will be facing Lanny Poffo and Mike Jackson. Lanny and Mike get big cheers, actually. The jobbers get the cheers. It doesn't go long, this. There's a Lanny slam, and a drop kick, but he misses one because Dennis Condrey holds Mr. Eaton, and so he misses. That's great. Condrey's then in. I'm looking at my notes, of course. He takes over. He starts to get some punches and all that, some shots in. There's a nice drop kick, an Eaton slam, actually, and an elbow drop, and they use the heart attack move for the pin. It's very quick. And Magnum TA is facing the Shadow, who's apparently got an auspicious win-loss record. I don't know what that is, JR, but yeah, Magnum TA is actually really rather on the losing end of this. You've got a slap, first of all, from the Shadow. He's not very nice. And some disguised punches, He does that he bites him as well, but he does that behind the referee's back. I love that. Love all that. He throws Magnum out the ring. There's an eye poke and a shoulder block, which is not really very good. Magnum gets a slam, but then Shadow rolls him up. Whenever you think Magnum's coming back, Shadow rolls him up for a 2 count, hits a swinging neck breaker for another 2 count, a back suplex. It's going very well, actually. And then Magnum throws him off the top rope, tries to take the mask off, doesn't really get there, sort of halfway there, flips him out the corner and then hits that belly to belly. That's not a finishing manoeuvre, is it? For the pin. It weren't good. And neither is Buddy Landell and Masao Ito versus Tony Torres and John King. There's a Tony Torres arm drag and a big a high knee from Landell. He throws him into Ito's knee and then Ito's in. Doing that yes, with the straight fingers. He then just picks his leg up, kicks him in the face. It's apparently a karate kick. It's not. It just looks like my hamstrings are a bit tight kick. Gets a flying headbutt, a chop and a splash. And there's the pin. King actually, you can see that. King actually kicked out before 3. But What does it matter? They're only jobbers, so that's fine. And then we've got the match which should be the final match. Your final match is Mr. Wrestling 2. I can't remember who it... versus Bob Owens. I mean, this should be your final match because it's Terry Taylor's rematch for the TV Championship. Remember that? It was many weeks ago and people will have forgotten it. So, well, let's talk about Mr. Wrestling 2 versus Bob Owens first. Mr. Wrestling has already told us that he's not happy with the Rock and Rolls stealing their gear, which clearly they have done, it seems to me. There's no restitution. He wants the management to do something about it. Like James E. Cornette, I'm pretty much in agreement with Mr. Wrestling. Maybe those two should team up and try and get those belts off the Rock and Rolls. He wants to do something. He wants management to do something about it, and if they don't, he will settle it himself with Mr. Wrestling. During the whole thing, he's looking at the wrong camera. So he's telling us, but the camera's over here, mate. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm going to do something myself. Yeah. Okay, can't see what you're looking at. Anyway, Mr. Wrestling dispatches Bob Owens with a standby bout quite easily with the elbow drop and a pin. It was a bore. And then we've got the big signing, by the way, for the big tag match next week. But your sort of main event, really, they must have had a bit of time over. Is this internet or TV? Not internet. The internet wasn't around by then. The TV title. So Terry Taylor gets announced second. So Crusher Khrushchev's got to be thinking, it doesn't seem too good. Taylor gets a hammerlock. He's not wearing the soft collar anymore because, he was brutalised by Butch Reed. Brutalised by Butch. And the Crusher gets out of the hammerlock by just elbowing him in the face. I mean, really, he looks surprised. Terry Taylor. Hits a poor clothesline and a slam does the Russian sympathiser, according to JR. He's not, though, is he? Not really, no. There's a Crusher guillotines Terry Taylor over the top rope. Oh, yeah. And then he's shocked at the kick out. We all were. There's a high cross body from Terry Taylor for a 2 count, and Khrushchev really sells a kick to the arm. As if it's really... I was prepared for anything, but not a kick to my bicep. Terry Taylor gets the flying forearm, which of course is his finisher, just as Nikolai Volkov and Butch Reed come in for the DQ. Reed hits Volkov with a shoulder block off the top of the slingshot. You see, because Terry Taylor got out of the way. It's an errant situation. Oh, no. He fights them all, does Terry. Suddenly, Dr. Death Steve Williams is in. Long after any of the action's taken place. He waited till all the fighting's finished to get in there. And bearing in mind Terry Taylor is the number 1 contender for this TV title, who grabs the medal and puts it over his head, round his neck? Steve Williams. He's come out late. He's not really helped you. And he's taken the medal and said, you can take it off me if you want. And Terry Taylor's all right with that. In fact, all he does is ruffle his hair. Hey, it's great, isn't it? Not really. He's taken your spot, mate. And you're okay with that? That's why you didn't become a huge champion, self-made man with Miss Alexandra York by your side. Anyway, yeah, Red Rooster. It wasn't good this week, but you know what? It's got a real frenetic energy, and that's what carries it through. And we've got the Superdate at the Superdome to look forward to. You can't be married. You cannot be married. Ta-ta.